The flood of Lake Ajay Village, where a clash between development dreams and community woes has left residents drowning in bureaucratic floodwaters. Well, David, Lake AJ Village residents are facing flood havoc from the new housing project runoff, highlighting a frustrating lack of communication and accountability among uh, multiple jurisdictions and the developers. So uh, you can't make this shit up, David. We got to get the life preservers out. Whatever we got to do, we got to help these people. So what you say?
When I came across this article, again, it's one of those you can't make this shit up
Yep.
moments. And I'm just shaking my head. You have the South Florida Water Management District involved. You have the city of Orlando involved, and you have Pulte Homes involved. And the situation is that Lake AJ Village.
You forgot the county, right?
No, the county is not really.
They're not involved yet.
They're not involved yet.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's coming, I'm sure. However, you have Lake AJ butts up to the Orange Osceola border. There, AJ is in Osceola County, and you have this Pulte development, Nona Coves or whatever you want to call it, that is being excavated and developed. This land by Pulte that butts up to the north of the Orange Osceola County border, which is where Lake AJ Community Village is. And as they're preparing the land and all that stuff, this used to be a wetland. And so as they pave over this wetland, as they bury this wetland, where's all the water?
You can see David. You can see how David is not a fan of development. What they're doing, guys, is as they were trying to make sure they managed the wetland and they put the proper things in place that they were required by law. They had a faulty. They had a faulty accident that has made it worse.
Yes,
and is not going to make it better. And the real gist is, Orlando is responsible for approving this development, and they flooded the neighborhood because their oversight and their lack of I mean, they're just too greedy. To me, this, David, is not the developer's fault as much as it is the political leadership in Orlando trying to do too much.
Well, this is typical of the city of Orlando. I mean, they recently unanimously agreed to annex the Sunbridge development. The Sunbridge property owned by the Mormon Church, Deseret Development. Mm-hmm. And knowing that the infrastructure is not there and that it will cost millions and millions and millions of dollars to implement the infrastructure in East Orange. This situation is, I mean, a makeshift dam to hold the rainwater and excess water broke. Yep. And it flooded hundreds of gallons of water into Lake AJ Village. And this is just emblematic of, city officials not really thinking out things and, moving forward with paving over Central Florida. Where's all this rainwater going to go? If we're going to continue to pave over the wetlands, and fill them up, where is all this rainwater going to go?
And this is a non-research comment, David. So I want you to
That's
know that.
correct.
But I
Okay,
want to
that's fine.
say, I'm wondering if these homeowners uh, had flood insurance. I mean, because typically you have to have certain criteria met before you can have flood insurance. Because the only people that sell flood insurance is the federal government. Is this an area that hopefully that these people were prepared for this, because they may not even be insured for this.
Exactly.
So then where do the lawsuits come from? So this is
Exactly.
why this is a concern with the overreach of the city of Orlando. They're all about trying to increase their tax dollars. This was a development that was probably approved because, hey, we can bring in more residents. We can then bring in more tax dollars, and
Right.
these tax dollars are going to do X, Y, and Z without thinking the older community was established. And, hey, what do they think? And don't tell me that these people who are working and doing the same, doing their due diligence, all knew that this project was coming.
Hmm.
That the notification, the first read, the second read, and all the stuff that everybody knows
Right.
happens but doesn't know happens.
Are they obligated, since if City of Orlando did the proper notifications, are they obligated to let the folks in Osceola County know that there are different meetings in place to discuss this development,
I
this
don't believe
proposed?
so. I believe
That's
that
a,
they put the notifications out there,
right,
and they.
but
But do you have? I mean, do you live in Osceola? Do you think to look at what Orlando is doing? Like I'm not. Uh, what one conversation that I had with Cade Resnick, the commissioner of Winter
yeah,
Springs,
yes,
was very interesting, and I don't know if we covered it on air or not, but the people in Winter Springs got very upset that a storage unit was built
hmm,
in the county on the border.
mm,
But because the city, because the city didn't partner well with the developer on that issue, then they went to the county and they got it built. So guess what? The
mm,
city residents had no clue that it was going to happen
yeah,
because the city didn't want to work with it. So the city manager ignores it. They finally say, well, I still need it. So I'm going to go to the county because I found a loophole. That could be exactly what happens here is, look, I live in Osceola County. I didn't realize you were going to build a monstrosity right there. I didn't read I didn't read your article or
right.
your notification.
Notice,
I
right,
didn't want to go all the way from Osceola all the way to the city hall up in. It's not like you brought the meeting. You don't bring the meetings to
yeah,
Osceola. You don't bring it to the location.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I'll double check all what I'm saying, but
right.
I clearly this is. I'm with you, David. I don't think the residents were as knowledgeable as they should have been.
I agree. And, with the three different jurisdictions that we discussed, going back and forth. Well, no, you need to take care of this. No, you need to take care of this. No, you need to take care of this. And then Representative Tom Keene, whose district covers this particular part of Orange and Osceola County, he's saying, there's things like this are going to happen. As a matter, something. As a
Wait,
matter of fact, let's quote him directly. He said, I quote, I think in this case it shows a communication issue. At the end of the day, it's all about being a good neighbor and communicating. This won't be the first or last time something like this happens that impacts families. It impacts existing homeowners as well as the new homeowners.
what I think we'll have here, David, is a lack of communication. I wonder what
And
movie King got that from.
now that you reference it, I'm kind of thinking it's like, is that from a
Oh,
movie?
that's the movie right there.
Uh,
No, he's right though. I mean, he's right, but should is this a case where he's going to go up to Tallahassee and actually try to get something done to help residents and take more power away from the local municipalities? Like maybe this is where it gets really hard being a conservative.
Sure.
Because we really pride ourselves on local government, but we should also pride ourselves on being good neighbors. And I think that's what happened here. We forget that we have neighbors. I think Orlando especially forgets that they go up to Seminole. They go up to Seminole County,
Right.
and that they go towards Osceola County. Now we discussed whether they actually touch, but I know that Orange County and Seminole County communicate where they actually touch better than they used to because of the relationship with Lee Constantine reaching out. He's done that several times because he's a big environmentalist. But the city's trying to grow too quick and do too much. The pictures. If you go to the article, which
Orlando
is
Sentinel.
Orlando Sentinel, and you just see the floodwater, it's horrible, and you can tell how it was makeshift and it broke. I'm looking at an image right now that it's a view of the water rushing out of the broken dam at Lake AJ. How could you miss that? You didn't. It doesn't even look like it was strong enough. But that's my opinion. Water is the most aggressive. I'm more scared of water than I am of fire.
Yes.
I mean, I can outrun a fire. I can outrun
water,
but water, you never know what it's going to do, and you never know. You can
underestimate the power of water.
You can't predict it. So, yeah, David, I think we should call Disney because they have Disney cruises. They could probably put a cruise ship in there.
to talk about Orlando growing too fast, I think they're growing out too fast when there is so much infill available within the city limits to build upward is what they should be focusing on. Again, the infrastructure just isn't there for the expansion outward, in my opinion, and what I understand, particularly in the recent, annexation of the Deseret development. This here, ultimately Pulte's responsible. It was on their property that this makeshift dam broke and caused the flooding. So they, I believe, should be ultimately responsible. Now, I believe it's Orlando and the South Florida Water District to determine, okay, will this again happen? Is there a possibility that because this is a former wetland that Pulte is building on, that there's going to be issues with proper water drainage?
I think
and the Lake AJ Village people, I can understand they're very upset and that this is very maddening for them. I think this is just the beginning of their troubles.
I don't know how it works this part, but I'd be pulling permits. I'd be like, you're done. You guys stop everything. You got to clean this up. You got to stop everything. We need to go right back to the drawing board because whatever you presented to us was not above board, or you didn't give it. Look, you got to look at every possibility. You knew this. I'm not blaming the developer. I as much as I'm just aghast that we have people that are in government positions that don't take and say, look, what could go wrong?
Right.
Like that's the first thing. See, if I was a politician, the very first thing I say is, tell me everything that could go wrong and what you're doing to prevent it. And that's all I want to hear. Like, I want to know if you're on a wetland, how are you going to make sure that you don't get flooding? Because that should just be common sense to me. And I know nothing about it. You remember how hard it was for me to remember what those
Uh-huh.
retention ponds were called,
Right.
because it's not something I deal with every day.
And Representative Tom Keene has stated this is not going to be the last time. So if I was, Tom Keene, Representative Keene, I would take the lead and say, hey, although I reached out to the South Water District, they haven't gotten back to me, they haven't called me back. I will send my aide down to their office and say, hey, Representative Keene wants to call a meeting with you, the city of Orlando, Pulte, and Lake AJ
Yeah.
Village, and get some answers done now.
Well, David, you're going to like this, because I have the chairman of the Seminole County Soil and Water getting scheduled to be on our show. It'll either be the Morning Constitution or our show. And Karen Harriet and I will have this conversation, because I think that we have this position that's underfunded. There's overregulated now, because they have to be qualified in the position, which I think is great. But if they have to be qualified in the position, they have to be working in a job related to it. How something like this could happen? Like, is it because it's not paid? Is it because there's not enough? Maybe they're not doing well. Good enough job, because it should be paid. I don't know what the problem is, but this shouldn't happen.
It
Government should have protected these people. That's what
Yes.
our job is. And Pulte, listen, you did a shitty job, and I would hold you more accountable the next time you come up for a government contract, or come to government for
A permit.
permitting. And I would pull your permits and say, hey, you're in a timeout.
Hey, if you're from Lake AJ Village and you're watching this, listening to this, please let us know in the comments and let us know that you are representing Lake AJ. We really would like to hear your opinion about what's happening in your village. If you're from Pulte, the same. We want to hear what you have to say. And any of the representatives from Orlando City, Osceola County, Orange County, or the South Florida Water District. We want to hear what you have to say, officially or unofficially. So please make your comments. And again, for our audience, our community, we'd love to hear what you have to say on this particular issue too.
Can't make this shit up. Guys, stay safe, please.